Hey guys, so today I wanted to go over what I would argue is the best scene in The Departed. I found The Departed to be an awesome film. If you haven't seen it, you could still understand this scene. To be honest, you could understand the give and the take. You could kind of understand the character motivations. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Go watch the film. Um, Departed, great film, a lot of great scenes. So, which scene did I pick to be the best? Well, to be fair, I picked this scene to be the best in terms of acting. There are a lot of interesting scenes, elevator scene, even the final scene. There's a lot of scenes that have really great direction, camera work, score, things like that. But I chose this scene where Leonardo DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson are doing a give and take about who is the rat and whether or not there is a rat. And so let's go over it. I'm just gonna go from an acting perspective, see kind of where everything goes. I remember how good this scene is though. Pretty much anything Jack Nicholson does is pretty good in terms of acting, to be honest.
You accused me once. I put up with it. You accused me twice. I quit. You pressure me to fear for my life, and I will put a fucking bullet in your head as if you're anybody else. Okay?
The reason I like that moment is Leonardo DiCaprio is kind of like BSing through his teeth, and he plays that. I almost felt he played it a little bit too much, just a bit, just a little bit where it was kind of obvious, but I actually think it ended up working because he ends up in the end kind of manipulating him into thinking he's not the rat. But I really like this scene because even the way he knocks something over, if he was gonna knock something over, if that was the scene direction, that means that he's kind of supposed to be BSing, but it's supposed to be very nervous. I got that. I got that he was nervous. Like, that didn't seem tough at all. That seemed like he was trying to be tough, but he's actually scared shitless. So, and doesn't want to get caught, so he's actually just, so he's too nervous to be tough, and he's just trying to lie. So I think that's great. He does a good job here, actually.
You got something you wanna ask me?
Look,
Okay, so something to note about Jack Nicholson and the way he acts is very hard to describe. But the way I would put it is a lot of what Jack Nicholson does can only be pulled off by Jack Nicholson. Like those moments where he looks into the gun barrel and he's pointing up for no reason, and like the line delivery someone else probably could have done, but even though that's actually his best thing, line delivery is one of Jack Nicholson's strongest traits in terms of his acting ability. He delivers lines that most people could never deliver, but like those unique, you'll see it, a lot of the character expressions and things like that are stuff that only Jack Nicholson can do.
you're 70 years old, Frank. I'm just saying, okay? One of you guys is gonna pop you. One of you guys is gonna pop you. As for running drugs, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? You don't need the money or the pain in the ass, and they will catch you.
I haven't needed the money since I took Archie's milk money.
So, really interesting, and in terms of now Leonardo DiCaprio kind of is playing off of Jack Nicholson's zaniness, and I'm talking about in terms of character. And Leonardo DiCaprio does this really good job of, he's still kind of scared, like he's almost just crapping his pants, but he's kind of on the offensive now. And I think he's doing he does a really good job of keeping the vocal tone the same, but changing the aggression pattern, so it's still a little bit weak, but he's being aggressive about it so he can try to take control. Jack Nicholson is really playing into the kind of eccentric behavior of his character. If he's supposed to burn stuff and things like that, he's going to be a little bit eccentric. The way he plays off dialogue. Normally on that line, yeah, he probably, in my mind, how I would have played it, I would have been making like direct eye contact, yeah, engrossed in his thing. He's playing it, yeah. Like, I couldn't even tell if he believed it and he was just like on board with him, or if he was like, no, that could never be the case, and I'm just saying yeah, or I'm in my own delusional land, so I'm just saying yeah because I'm not paying attention. It literally could have been all of those. And he's really good at playing these ambiguous type of, or he does these ambiguous types of line delivery where you get to be engrossed in his character and learn about it over time as opposed to just like learn everything about it the moment he says a line. And that's like really great the way he does that.
Third grade. Tell you the truth, I don't need pussy anymore either. But I like it.
So,
Why not make it here? Is Bill got this rat, this gnawing, key-eating fucking rat.
I know you guys wanted me to pause there just to go over that. Again, it's one of those moments that like maybe other people could have done it, but like that's a Jack Nicholson moment. First off, kudos to him for actually looking like a rat when he did that, but like that's a moment. And I think there's a couple of cool things in that he's playing a lot of eccentric physical behavior traits. The rat face, smacking it with a sleeve like he's a child, burning things for no reason. But then he's juxtaposing that with the like calm intensity of his voice. If you've noticed, Leonardo DiCaprio has been playing it very like scared but very aggressive and upbeat, and Jack Nicholson has a calm intensity. That acting choice is why those eccentric things work. He's really good at knowing what to do when. So to elaborate for a second, a lot of it has to do with the fact that if he's gonna play the zany character, it's very easy when you make character choices like that for us to get out of it, like we no longer immersed in it because it seems a little too much. That didn't come across. More importantly, for us to then not be intimidated or scared by the character. But you're like, you think he's funny, but you're like kind of terrified by what he could do. Like you genuinely are. And that has to do with the calm intensity of his voice type of thing that he does is really good. And I think that acting choice is pretty brilliant.
And it brings up questions. You know, see, Bill, like, you're the new guy. Girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
See there, you're the new guy. So, again, he has a little bit of a zaniness, and even the way he does that voice, like it's a good character representation. And he says it so casually, but the way he does it has so much weight that when you see Leonardo DiCaprio's expression, which was a beautiful expression, like it was a great reaction of he knows what that means. He didn't really say it, but you're the new guy. Just it was a very calm, like a logical statement. You're the new guy, but that logical statement had so much weight behind it, and Jack Nicholson knew that had so much weight behind it. So he added an element of just in the undertone of his palette, just a little, like, I'm gonna kill you, cause it's you, so you're gonna frickin' die, but like it's you, right? Like he's almost like, you agree with me, right? It's you, gotta kill you. So yeah, it's really good. There's really good stakes, even though this is a kind of comedic scene.
Why don't you stay in the bar that night I got your numbers? Social security numbers? Everybody's fucking numbers.
Is this something that you just want to go ahead and ask me? Because I'll give you the fucking answer, alright? Frank, look at me. I'm not the fucking rat, okay? I'm not the fucking rat.
Start with you agree there is a rat.
Okay. So, before I go to Jack Nicholson, because that's an amazing thing that Jack Nicholson does all the time. It's not common. It's not just for this scene, and it's acting style. I think acting style is fine. I do think you should be able to like lose it at times, but I do think it gives a signature that like really lets you resonate with the character. Yeah, it's really interesting because like let's go to Leonardo DiCaprio's character. I'm not gonna talk about like character motivation and that. Those are there. You can see it. You know now he's on the offensive and things like that. But the the way he delivers some of these lines right now is it's it's almost like a wink to the audience, which is really cool. Like I am the rat. I am the rat. You know I'm the rat. Like he's saying it like I'm the rat. But he's saying it with like a nope, I'm not the rat, but you know he's the rat. Like the way he says it. Like it's so obvious. He's putting an emphasis on the curse word that's modifying it. It's so obvious. And I think he's doing a really good job of just being like a scared, almost like a scared kid, even though he's not a kid. But it's like it has a very scared kid quality, which I love because if you were in this position where you knew that if you don't convince this person you're going to die, you are going to act like a child. You're going to have childish qualities because you are going to die, and your little primal basic instinct of being a child and being scared and being, I want my mommy, like all those are going to come back. It was a really good job. Jack Nicholson's face right here.
Fucking rat.
Start with you.
Okay. So that that head thing, he does that all the time. That like nod thing. It's almost like he's saying like it's an instinctual reaction, and this was funny because he's like he has lines to say like, okay, so you are agreeing there's rat. He's almost trying to corner him, but he's like agreeing with Leonardo DiCaprio right now. Like he's almost like a no, I know, but you agree is right. He's almost like a I know, like the big popular guy said I know, so you just nod with them type of thing. That's great. There's such a good push and pull, and there's such a good tone shift of terrifying, but this is hilarious. I love that. I don't find that to be an uneven tone. I don't find that to be like, oh, they're not picking a tone. They don't know what the tone is. That's not one of those moments. This is this perfect comedic but darkish humor element to it.
Agree, there is a rat.
You said there is one, alright? I base most of what I do on the idea that you're pretty fucking good at what you do.
Sure. You, William, what would you do?
Frank, how many of these guys have been with you long enough to be disgruntled, huh? Think about it. You don't pay much, you know. It's almost a fucking feudal enterprise. The question is, and this is the only question, who thinks that they can do what you do better than you?
The only one who could do what I do is me. A lot of people haven't died for me to be me. You want to be me?
Okay. This is perfect idea of scene arc. It's really easy when you're doing a scene to keep, how would I say, to keep your character's acting choices the same throughout. Jack Nicholson lost a lot of the zaniness on purpose because Leonardo DiCaprio is getting through to him that there's probably a rat, and he's starting to believe that maybe it's not him because Leonardo DiCaprio makes some pretty decent points. And there's right before this, there's a point where he looks at Leonardo DiCaprio and has a level of intensity in it. And Leonardo DiCaprio is genuinely scared by that look because he knows that, okay, now he's on edge. And then this moment of when Jack Nicholson says, like, a lot of people had to die to be me. There's like a level of humanity or lost humanity, like a broken man. And but he wants it. It's not like he's made choices he doesn't want. He wants these choices, but he knows how much has had to be destroyed to be where he is today. And there's like a sense of loss in like his soul. Then he shows it, and it's really good. Those type of character moments are really good for the audience, for letting the audience in, for letting the audience bond to your characters, for providing cool arcs to scenes so that the scenes breathe more, so the scenes have more elements that engross people so they don't get tiresome, and he's doing a really good job here.
probably could be you. Yeah. Yeah, I know that much. But I don't want to be you, Frank. I don't want to be you.
Heavy lies the crown. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Francis.
I'm out of here. Good luck.
Cool. Okay. So let's end there. That moment. That one's very interesting because I like that Leo is still staying true to the character's fear. Like, it would have been really easy at that moment where he's starting to get through to him, to just kind of like enjoy that moment and then get kind of a pride element out of it. But especially with the character, like Jack Nicholson's, that's on edge, it's whimsical, that's rash, he's still scared. And I think that there he does a really good job of closing him like, I could be you. I don't want to talk about the lines, because the lines is a different thing. Those are well written. I think the lines are pretty good. I think Leo's dialogue is maybe slightly weaker. I think Jack's dialogue is pretty great, but it really needed him to deliver it, or else it would have sounded kind of weird. But I think there's this really good moment between them where they both add an element of like we came to this together. Like, we came up with the idea. Like, yeah, I could be yours. I could do what you do. I could be your replacement, but I don't want it. And then Jack Nicholson's like, yeah, I get it. Heavy lies the crown. Like I'm on that page with you. To summarize, to summarize for this scene, I think what's really important to note is that there's this great push-pull. The actors have... Jack Nicholson plays to his character really well. Leonardo DiCaprio is playing to his character motivations really well. And you don't always have to just focus on both so much. You can focus on one if you think it's more important to a scene. Leonardo is really focusing on the character motivations of like the fact that he knows where he is, like what position he's in and how terrifying that is, and that kind of takes control, but he still stays true to his character. But then Jack Nicholson is in a much stronger position of power, so he's just letting his character play. But then there's like elements of like he's playing and he's just kind of playing with his food, and then grounds him in intensity, and then grounds him in like a sense of humanity, and that sense of humanity of like the fact that how he got here, and his sense of humanity playing with a little bit of a sense of logic, but breaking a point of like his zaniness, mixing it all together, that causes the whole scene to be very believable about how Leo is able to convince him of this. Because it's really easy in this type of scene, for the audience to go, really? He got him to believe that? And you still could, it's subjective, but they do a really good job of that. And I think the reason why I think this scene is so great for the film is it completely represents what the film's like themes are, about deception, about manipulation. And more importantly, the height of what makes this scene so great is that it represents the movie as a whole. You really love scenes like that represent the movie's core themes, core beliefs really well, distinctly really well. This one's that great thing. This push and pull of deception, and who's lying to whom, and who's believing what, and everybody's eccentric, so that's why everyone's falling for this, and nobody wants to believe like which people could actually do it, and people still need to move forward, which is why people are like falling into traps, because life goes on, and that's how you fall into traps, and you stumble because you're moving forward, and that's how you stumble into these things. And they're doing this really good job of that, staying true to character motivations and character traits, but really hitting that theme home. So I love it. I love this scene. Guys, let me know what you think in terms of if there's another scene that you would have chosen. Also, guys, give me scenes to go over. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one.